Hey guys, welcome back. You've made it to the channel where we absolutely criticize grading companies, and today is going to be no different. I guess it's a little bit of a theme this week with the second video doing such. But today we're going to look at three different companies: PSA, CGC, and BGS. We're going to look at some of the worst offenses we've seen, which is my theory that the quality assurance checks, they don't exist. I think the amount of time per card spent is maybe 30 seconds. We're going to give them that. But other than that, I think the QA checks, everything else it's kind of BS. And we'll take a look at why. Now, I'm going to ask you guys for a favor. We have three. These are the worst examples I could possibly find that I've seen so far. For each of these companies, we'll look at one example. I need you guys down below to vote which one is the worst. So you have to watch the whole video. My apologies in order to see that. In order to put your submission down below, try to remain as unbiased as possible when doing so. But first up here, PSA. We have the tracker, the Domino's pizza tracker that they put in place. You notice here that we have several little categories. We have grading, assembly, QA check 2, and shipping. So, I mean, you can kind of argue that anywhere between like assembly, QA check, and QA check 2, we got several opportunities here for them to catch blatant errors, whether it's with the label, whether it's debris within the case, whether it's an upside down card. Spoiler alert, we're going to have a couple of those. But we have the PSA grading process. So if you're gonna say you have a process and you have all these steps, well, there's many examples of cards that clearly did not get those steps. They just didn't. Whether that's a rogue employee that's just like, I'm going to save so much time and hit my deadlines so easily by just not doing any of these steps. Whether they have their eyes closed when they're doing it, who knows? But here we go. We have shipping prep, delivery, arrival, order entry, the sticker, research department. So grading here, when you're grading, I guess depending on the oopsie doopsie that they do, you could argue that grading is part of it, but definitely when you get the label, when you get the seal, once the thing is sealed, a lot of these examples, this is when clearly there should be something noticed, at least with the three examples that we have. We have grade check, so here's another opportunity, another stage. You made it a whole separate stage, so surely if there's something weird going on with the card, with the label, with the case, etc., it should be noticed at grade check. It should be noticed at quality assurance, which is a final quality control check is done on your order to inspect for imperfections with the holders and labels. If any loose material is spotted inside the holder, a mislabeling is detected, or any other changes are required, the card is returned to the sealing department. So, you know what? An error on a label, maybe the person that's doing this quality assurance check, maybe they just don't recognize it. I can see that. Maybe there's a little typo. Maybe they're the wrong language and they don't know any other languages and they don't feel like checking. Sure, they don't have time to do it. During the stage, PSA also spot checks customer orders to ensure the appropriate service level was selected based on the card's PSA graded value. This process is called results review and is essentially a means of verifying that cards are submitted according to PSA's declared value rules. If the card is valued higher than the service level it was submitted under, we don't really care. You'll take time to look for that stuff, but you won't take time to make sure that the card is the way that it should be in the case. Weird. I mean, there's times where people don't get upcharged as well when they should. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I guess it just depends on whether or not PSA wants to make some extra money on whatever that is. So essentially, we got quality assurance. We're going through, we're checking the card front and back. We should see anything that's wrong with it, if it gets damaged, etc., if it's the wrong grade, if it's upside down in the case, if it's got the wrong label, etc. Then we have the final step, which is just your QA2, I guess, your quality check number 2. Your order is reviewed one final time to make sure everything is accounted for, including any changes in the return shipping address. So, sweet. In summary, so not only the final step, but we have like QA2, we have shipping it out. When they're putting it in the box, surely something that's blatantly obvious will stand out. So here's my example. This is the worst one that I have for PSA that lends me to believe that there's no such thing as the quality assurance check. This is a one and done, in my opinion. There's no other explaining this other than the fact that just like somebody was pretending to quality check, I guess. Maybe sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't, depending on how backlogged they are. I don't know if the employees actually get, surely they have to hit a quota of some sort. And you're saying, Rattle, there's nothing wrong with this Machoke. It's shadowless. Maybe it's a 5. That's fair. But when you look at the backside, you got a sticky note, probably one that was used to hold the card inside a semi-rigid inside the case here. There's absolute no way you can tell me someone checked this and didn't realize that there was a sticky note inside there. Maybe they didn't flip it over. They didn't have time to flip it over. Maybe the quality checks don't include looking at the backside. Regardless, this lends me to believe wholeheartedly that there's no quality checks whatsoever. So there's example number 1. Remember these so that you can vote at the end of the video. Number 2, we have CGC, submission tracking. So you see here they have like grading, quality control, etc. All these companies do mention the fact that they have quality control because, I mean, it should be a step. Like it's gonna cost them money in the end if they send this crap out because it looks bad on them. You have Rattle Pokemon that makes a video about how hilariously bad it is. I should also say that thank you for any individuals that sent me these bad boys. I think a couple people sent me the Machoke, and I've also seen it in like some threads on Facebook, etc. So if there's one specific person that sends me something, or typically the first person that sends me something, I'll try to credit them for that. Number 2, CGC. So again, we have the steps, we have the quality control steps. They let on that they have. Some of them say that they do or do not have them in different ways. So we'll go through the steps here. We get the CGC steps. This is a nice little, I guess we just click right every time we want to see what the next step is. Receiving, cool. Verification, sweet nasty. Authentication, all right. Grading, okay. So the grading encapsulation step is where we're looking at these errors here. We're not going to criticize the initial stuff, the research, etc. So, we already rigged on CGC this week for grading cards that are almost certainly stolen without showing anyone how they were obtained or looking into the backstory. I don't think they should be doing that. But agree to disagree. Encapsulation, bad ass. So here's where we see the oopsie doopsies. Imaging as well. There's another step right there. I guess PSA didn't really, unless it was in that giant wall of text, they didn't include that in their like process or whatever, but it is part of the process. They image everything now. So this is another step where they could have caught that error where there was a sticky note inside the card. Should never happen. Quality control. So why do you get the person with the world's grossest thumb nail? Like, no one wants to, you couldn't take this picture again or crop it out or Photoshop it or something? They Photoshop their ads, but they can't Photoshop this gross fingernail? Gross. God damn. Do you want this on your card? This like finger scum? And the worst part is it's like in focus, like right up in your face. Who approved this? Quality control. So all the steps towards the end here, your imaging, your quality control. Sorry, I got sidetracked by the gross fingernail. Again, just like get a hand model or just like choose somebody that's at work that like cuts their fingernails and doesn't have scum on them. I don't even know. Is that like dried on mayonnaise from lunch? Packaging and shipping. So we get another step 8 out of 8. Here, once again, you should see if there's something blatantly wrong with the cards themselves, that should pop up. That should be a thing. So I think it's important to note for this example, I've already made a video on this. CGC trading cards accepting submissions for metal Pokemon cards once again. After an extensive R&D process, CGC Trading Cards has implemented an innovative method for encapsulating delicate metal Pokemon commemoratives. Orders that have been on hold have already started to ship back to submitters, so it took them forever and a half to do this. They seem very proud of it. The fact that they put an inner sleeve in the case, like it's the first time anyone's ever done it. PSA has done it. BGS has done it. CGC is going to like pretend that there's some sort of like super genius plus that they now grade the metal cards because they put a sleeve inside a slightly bigger case. Sick. You guys are amazing. Your R&D process is spot on. CGC Trading Cards is pleased to announce that the company will once again be accepting the commemorative Pikachu and Charizard metal cards from the Pokemon Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection for authentication, grading, and encapsulation. So we're not going to read through the whole thing again here, but essentially they got cases that are slightly thicker, and they put sleeves on the cards so they don't rattle around. Sweet, you did it. Very proud of this. It's weird that they're going on so hard about how they're really trying to take extra care of your cards. They're going to lead you to believe that you're in their best interest. They want to make sure that your metal cards are not damaging themselves. They're definitely not just doing it for money. They're definitely not just pumping out cards like all the other grading companies as fast as possible, giving you the illusion that they're taking care and taking time to make sure that your grades are accurate and everything else. Well, those same metal cards, who would have thought they already somehow put one in a slab upside down? Like how guys, please explain to me how there's a quality assurance check. There's like 4 or 5 like steps here where someone should realize that a card is upside down. You don't even need to know Pokemon to know that this is in there upside down. So anyone at any point that looked at this thing, whether it was the same person that did every single step of the process, whether it went to actually like 4 or 5 different people, how in the world? And this is on like their new like, hey guys, look how great we are. You can grade your metal cards with us. No, congratulations, you get to send it back in, risk it being damaged once again by those disgusting fingernails. Probably like picking around at the Charizard to see if it is a nice texture, if it makes a cool sound. If they can wipe or scrape the mayo off of their fingernails onto your metal cards. Who knows? Who friggin' knows? I don't get it. But again, here, we need to, guys, if you want to grade cards, by all means do it. If that's what you enjoy collecting, do it. If you want to do it because it's easier to sell, you can make more money off of it, by all means do it. I just want to give you a reality check that is the fact that this is all pretty bad. Again, I value your opinion. If you've been in the hobby for any amount of time, if you know anything about the hobby, if you spend some time learning about it, even 4 or 5 years, if you've been like spending time in Pokemon, your opinion is much more valuable than the grading card company. Congratulations, you did it. So this was posted on the Pokemon TCG. Got to misprint them all. It's always funny when they like put misprint labels or like graded cards that are upside down, etc. But Jimmy here says, disclaimer, not a misprint, but certainly an oddity. Long-time lurker, first-time poster. What's everyone's opinion on this? Should I get it sent back to CGC to get reslab? Probably not. Huh, smiley face. QA needs to step it up at CGC. Yeah, QA does not exist. Again, my opinion, but these are fine examples of how QA doesn't exist. We can go into many more, but I think these 3 are the best. And again, this is a selection number 2 if you're voting for CGC on who did the worst oopsie doopsie. That's option number 2. But finally, we'll get into BGS. BGS is a little bit different in terms of like how they let on that they have quality assurance checks, quality control checks. And I mean, we could email them, but we probably won't hear back about their process or anything like that. Their website's kind of crap. But we do have like a little walkthrough here. So, sweet. We have received your submission and is currently waiting on its final verification. So I guess that's their like final verification step, etc., where they're claiming, again, different nomenclature for different things. We got the Beckett walking through the BGS process here. We're going to skip the whole first part because it doesn't matter. And they're talking about like how they grade and crap like that, like how grades are assigned between like the subgrades and crap like that. Most importantly here, highlighted in red down at the bottom, we have once each card has been assigned a grade, the cards are placed in a custom BGS inner sleeve and placed with the rest of the cards in the bin. The bin is now sent to the next step in the BGS process, the labeling department. It is here in the labeling department where the labels that go into the BGS encapsulation with the card are created. The labels are placed with each corresponding card, and then the bin is now ready for the final step in the grading process, slabbing. So right in here, once it's assigned a grade, once it's in the slab, then this is kind of where we're picking at today. This is what we're criticizing. The encapsulation department encases the cards and labels inside of the BGS holder, or commonly called a slab in the hobby. Each card and its label are placed in the bottom half of the proper size holder. Top half of the holder is placed over top. and the entire encapsulation is placed inside the ultrasonic welding machine. The ultrasonic machine applies an ultrasonic frequency to certain parts of the holder that are designed to make contact with each other and weld the plastic completely. This solid weld seal around the holder ensure the holder is tamper and water resistant. So like, I gotta test this. I don't believe that like the holder, that the outside case is actually water resistant. PSA's isn't. Sure CS or CGC's isn't as well. There's no waterproof seal that's formed there. It does weld itself together, but I think you should ever guarantee that it's water resistant. Maybe because they use that inner sleeve, you could say that the inner sleeve is completely sealed because it's like heat sealed or whatever. Maybe that's justification for saying this water resistant stuff, but it makes it sound like they're saying the slab is. So maybe that has to be a video in itself. I need a BGS graded card, and I'll take baths with it for a month or something and see if see what happens. We'll have updates on the channel or something. But weird. I don't think they should be claiming this. There's like horror stories of people. I heard someone had a container or a box full of cards, graded cards, outside of their bathroom, and the moisture that came out of the bathroom was enough to ruin all the cards that were in slabs. So again, be careful. Even though they're graded, they're not protected from UV. They're not protected from moisture. Make sure they're stored somewhere with climate control and out of sunlight. It's for the best. At least direct sunlight. You don't want them exposed to that for a long period of time. You see the bleached cards. Each card now safely sealed in the BGS encapsulation is now placed in, I think this is written wrong, is now placed into a bag to protect against scratching and are placed back into the bin. Your cards have had quite the journey so far, but we have one more step before your cards reach you. The cards must be now packaged and shipped. So again, we have to like everything from when it goes in the slab, if it's upside down, if it's got a sticky note in there, everyone's to blame at that point. And again, it could be that those steps just don't exist. The shipping department checks each card before securely packaging for the trip home. Once they are logged into the system as shipped, you will receive an email letting you know the process is now complete. In this email, you will receive any tracking information and a link to see what the final grades are. It is a detailed process that takes many dedicated and passionate people to get your cards graded and encapsulated safely and securely back to you. It is a process BGS has been doing every day since 1999. So it sounds like they want to claim that it's multiple people. So it's got to be multiple people that are screwing up here. And here is the final example that you guys need in order to place your votes down in the comment section. We have a Beckett Black Label Gyarados EX, fresh out of the grading, and it's upside down. You might not be able to tell, but the label should not be down at the bottom there when sitting these guys next to each other. So 3 very blatant examples that lead me to believe that the quality assurance, quality control, whatever you want to call it, checky weckies, those don't exist. They're full of crap. They're not spending that much time on your cards. If they were at any point in time, at any point in this process, it should be very obvious to them that a card is upside down. It takes zero expertise to know, even you don't even need to know Japanese in this case to know that this is an upside down Pokemon card. Not only is it going to be upside down on the front, it's going to be upside down on the back. So I could be across the room and I'd be able to pick these off like nothing. Anyone would. I mean, maybe the sticky note. So let's go through. We got the PSA sticky note is vote number 1. And again, guys, let me know what the worst one is. Number 2 is the upside down. CGC decided they were going to help you guys out. They're your friends. They're going to put your stuff in a sleeve inside a slab and pretend they did some kind of quality control, some kind of research and development. They're full of crap. This is BS, and they're already messing up those cards, those exact cards that they just put a statement out on. And then last but not least, if you'd like to vote for BGS, we have the upside down Black Label, which is kind of egregious because the Black Label is supposed to be like a perfect card. They're supposed to be putting extra care and attention into this to see that there's 0 defects on this bad boy. It got 10s all around, but at the same time, they put it in the fucking case upside down. Unreal. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to my my talk today, my presentation. Let me know what you think. Let me know what the worst one is. Join the Discord. Love you guys.